Okay.
When we get super popular, we could sell them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Put them in the merch.
Yeah, in the merch shop. Yeah.
I like that.
Made a t-shirt,
Yeah.
mugs.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
there you go.
Maybe we get a special coffee blend from
Oh, see?
Mayor with the coffee. Or coffee with the mayor. special.
Blend.
Mayor with the coffee blend. That's the win.
Well, welcome to another episode of Coffee with the Mayor, where you have an opportunity to stay updated and caffeinated. And we're very happy to welcome our guests today, Alissa and Tim Unruh, the owners of this lovely establishment, Rhubarb Market. We're very excited to talk to them. Some of the things we're going to talk about today are small business development, locally sourced products, and rural Kansas entrepreneurship. So that sound good?
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right, great. So we've like we start every episode, we'd like you to introduce yourself and maybe tell us a little bit something about you that we might not otherwise know. I mean, you know, this is for family.
I'm not originally from Hillsboro, but I married Tim, and that's how I ended up here. And we've been married for a little over 24 years now.
Super.
And my profession has always been as a nurse until a few years back when we I know we'll talk a little bit about that, but we kind of fell into this. And so now I serve coffee to the community pretty much, and it's a lot of fun.
Very good. Tim?
So I am a Hillsboro native. So I was born and raised here. Have never lived any length of time away from Hillsboro. So when I went to Heston College. I wanted to go into a couple of different things there, and hotel restaurant management was one of them.
Okay.
Enrollment was, they didn't have enough enrolled, and so they dropped the program.
Oh, shoot.
So that didn't happen. But anyway, so I've always had a fascination with food. Just, loved, I guess, eating, cooking at a young age, paying attention to what other people were doing. And so, although I didn't see the end result of that until, just more recently, but it was something I was always passionate about. So, but yeah, love Hillsboro. I've always been committed to, staying here and raising a family here. It's a great place to be.
Well, I think we would agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we would agree. And other than Tim, the rest of this group around the table is also not from here.
Right.
So we're going to be, as we said earlier today, we're going to be talking about what you're doing here at Rhubarb Market and maybe some of the other things that you guys have been involved in the community. Because Alissa, you've been involved in with USD 410
Yes.
in your nursing role, and Tim, you were very involved at Tabor College and really instrumental in creating that campus that is so beautiful that we know and love today. So the first segment, we got to go to our first segment, and that is the mayor's mug shots. We'll start with Alissa again.
I'm really interested.
Yeah.
What does somebody who owns a coffee shop, what do they make for themselves?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I know everyone probably wants to know. And that's so we'll have people that, come up to the counter and they're like, give me your favorite drink. And I'm always kind of like, are you sure? Are you? So I have to always ask them some questions because, we create a lot of drinks and we have a lot of fun doing that. And we get pretty caffeinated as we're doing that. So that gets really interesting. But my favorite is actually an Americano, which is it's like a double shot of espresso, and then it's diluted in hot water.
Yeah.
And I usually just drink mine black. If I remember right, it originated after World War II in Italy. And I feel like it's a great drink because it really allows you to taste the coffee and enjoy the coffee. But because it's not just straight espresso and stuff like that. It kind of gives you, I don't know, it's a little smoother, like,
Sure.
yeah, kind of. And so,
There you go.
yeah, that's my drink.
All right, good stuff, Tim.
So what's in my mug right now is just black coffee.
Mhm.
And I like
Man after my own heart.
So we serve lots of different varieties from different sources of just coffee, and just to taste the different nuances from different countries and stuff, I think is really cool. When it's hot, I would say my go-to is I like 4 shots of espresso in a full glass of ice with a little bit of cream and maple syrup. So
All right.
it's like
What's that called?
I would just say, well, it's like an ice breve
Okay.
with 2 double shots.
Ice breve, 2 double shots.
Then I just put a little bit of maple syrup to sweeten it. But
Huh.
and that's like a sipper drink, like you can take it on the road with you and just sip it as you're driving or whatever. So
But like some people, like if they have in the past, like ordered that off of our menu, we often like refer to that as a kamikaze.
yeah.
So
I could believe that.
Yeah.
I could believe that. So Matt, where are you at today?
Yeah, today I'm actually in Elisa's camp today because I went with a decaf Americano because of caffeine. So I cannot do the kamikaze floating off the with a little bit of oat milk. And don't ask me how you milk an oat.
Yeah.
Oat milk today.
All right.
But I go back and forth. You know how it is. I mean, whatever they've got handy is what I kind of go for.
But it's really nice because like when you come in, you've got a usual and everything. And that's always kind of fun. It's fun to get to know everyone's usuals.
Everyone's got their thing. Right?
Well, I think, like I said last episode, when I come in, there's usually a line, and I'm trying to get in and out, and the fastest way to get in and out is go get a empty cup and go over there and pump it full of good coffee. I was going to just tell a quick story. A number of years ago, I was up in Minnesota working with a sales rep. We were going to make a presentation to a customer, to a group of people, and he was young and single and didn't need to sleep the night before. And so we pulled through a Caribou coffee. I don't know if you've ever heard of Caribou coffee. And he gets the largest coffee can, and he gets I don't know how many shots of espresso in the coffee. And he said, "Have you ever had shots of espresso?" And I said, "No, but hey, I'll try it."
Yeah.
So we get to our the customer's location, and we get there in the table, and we're waiting for them to join us. And all of a sudden, I look down at my hands, going like this, and my heart's about to come out of my chest.
Yeah.
What just happened here? So I realized then that I'm probably not a 1, 2, or 3, or even 4 shots of espresso kind of guy.
What are you having? I think I know. But...
Yeah, it's whatever was on tap.
Yeah, I got you.
It's a coffee flavored coffee.
It was
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese coffee. Yeah.
It's a new one for us.
Yeah,
nice.
I heard. Yeah.
Like I said, you can always tell there's just a little bit of flavor. I'm not one of those people that's good at describing
Yes,
flavor.
notes.
But again, if it's smooth and it's warm, that's what I'm looking for, right?
Fair enough.
Coffee flavored coffee.
Favorite.
So we've got some questions that I think inquiring minds in Hillsboro would like to know. And first of all, we were hoping you could tell us a little bit about the coffee house and how this whole thing started.
Sure.
It didn't just happen overnight.
No.
I mean, I think it's kind of a fun and interesting story because it all started with our middle son, who still is he does most all of our roasting.
And we have
for
3
us.
sons.
Yeah. And but he was a sophomore in high school, and he had an entrepreneurial class with Nathan Hebert here in town. And they were supposed to create a business, something that they had some interest in. And it was supposed to be something that they could do at school. Well, so he created a coffee roasting business. At that point, he didn't drink coffee.
He liked the
smell of it because we would make coffee, and stuff. And he loved the smell of coffee.
Okay.
But hadn't acquired the taste, of it. And so he, kind of drew up his plan, did what he was supposed to do for his work at the school. And when it came to like doing it at school, they had to get permission and everything. Well, the state inspector said that in a school setting, we can't allow a hot appliance like this to operate. And he did a really good job with drawing up his plan. And so they said, well, you can create another one, or we'll just use this one. And I said, if you want to do this, I'll just buy a little roaster and we can start it. We can do it at home and see how it works out. And so we bought this little countertop roaster that you could do 16 ounces at a time, which by the time you're done, it ends up to be 12 ounces, which is basically a bag of coffee.
Right. Okay.
And it took about 20 to 30 minutes to do one bag.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so we started, and the idea was, just to give it away so people could kind of get, used to the product and what he was doing and up to and stuff like that. And so he would take it to school and give it to teachers, whoever was willing to try it. And so was getting good reviews. And I mean, before you do it, we were sitting at that thing every evening roasting coffee.
For hours.
Yes, it was like we would start it immediately when we got home. And it's like, yeah. Roasting coffee is really fun because it goes through a couple of processes, which they call crack stages. And so there's an initial crack, which is like pretty loud, audible. It's easy to tell when that starts happening. And then the second one is more discreet. It's like quieter, sometimes closer together. Sometimes they run together. Sometimes there's really, depending on the coffee, there's two distinct ones. And so it really kind of takes, attention to detail, a little bit of ingenuity about what's going on and how it all works to get to where you want it. Alissa and I had a couple doors down, there was a business that had booth space for rent. And so we were upscaling furniture, recycling things, building things.
Yeah, we were just doing that on the side.
Yeah, we were doing that on the side.
He had his job at Tabor in groundskeeping, and I had my job at USD 410 as a school nurse. So yeah.
So finally we got to the point where we were, putting bags of coffee in there and selling them in there, and just at least covering our costs, making a little money. And
can't be handing it away.
Right, yeah.
I mean, that's an expensive hobby.
So we could sell more coffee over there, and it was really going pretty well. And then we started like once a month, we would bring in some baked goods, and then we were just giving away our drip coffee on that day, so more people could taste it and get used to what we were doing. Sharon Mueller, who owned this building, had an antique store in here. She also had a booth over there, so she could kind of get traffic in a couple of different areas. And she kind of watched how we evolved on Saturdays over there, just saw how busy we are. And she, I think, was at the point in this building where she was kind of ready to maybe cut back a little bit and downsize. And so she offered the front room to us of this building and said, you can do whatever you want to with it. I'll move my stuff out and or move it back to this part.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to use that room for whatever you want. So we rented it from her and made a few changes, and then just eventually brought all of our stuff over here. And then at that point we started opening on every Saturday. Yeah. Because we weren't over there, for people to see us. And so we decided, well, we'll open on every Saturday. And we kind of did some baking for the day. And at first we sold drip coffee and cold brew. So we did that for maybe about almost the first year.
So your coffee has a name, and you haven't really said it.
Right.
You still maintain that brand.
Yes. So it's kind of so we're a Rhubarb Market as a coffee shop, and as the project started back in high school with Aiden, he needed to, of course, think of a name, and we came up with Menno Beans. That is all from Menno Simons for Mennonite history buffs. He was credited, his name was attached to the movement, the Anabaptist movement. Right. And so that's why, because we're proud of our Mennonite heritage. And we thought this might be a way, like if people ask us, so why Menno Beans? What's that? And we have a picture of Menno Simons on the front of our bag. And it's just an opportunity for us to tell our story, basically. And, you know, my 4 great-grandfathers ago settled in Marion County, just outside of Hillsboro. And so I feel very, you know, I'm very attached to this area.
Sure.
It's important to me to kind of tell that story.
What were some of the challenges then without not having really that background?
Yeah.
I mean, you being a grounds, you know, kind of a green thumb guy is what I like to call it. And Alissa, as you know, in the health field, you know,
running a
what
business.
what are some of the challenges to running a food business that you've experienced?
So one of my other passions, which tied into what I did at Tabor, was gardening, taking care of plants and that kind of thing. And while I was at Heston College, somebody was building greenhouses outside of town. And so I just went out and applied for a job. And he hired me, and I that's where I credit my education to as far as that industry goes. I worked there for 13 years, and like it was a wholesale grower for retail garden shops and stuff in Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri. And so that was a very valuable experience in learning like how a business, how industry works. But also during that time, from college and after, I did a lot of catering in the area, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, Christmas parties. And so that was how I guess my outlet to the food, you know, part of me was satisfied. So just, you know, learning how to be creative, serving people, being hospitable, working with clients. It's different than working in a retail setting, but there are some similarities. I mean, you learn a lot from that.
Sure.
But I mean, I think for us, it maybe was good not having a business background.
Okay.
We're both very creative people, but we're not really business people. And so, we both have very good work ethic as well. I mean, we'll, you know, work our rears off to get something done. And so I think in our naivety about like, if we work hard, we make the place look good. If we provide a good product, it'll work out. And so, I mean, I think have felt very blessed, very well supported by our community.
Very.
We've had like a few struggles with like learning the ropes as we go, some of the details that, you know, we probably would have known if we were business-minded people before doing it.
But people have been like very kind.
Yes.
And like, and very helpful. Like, and we have had people within our community, you know, say that are business people that have said, if you have questions, you know, don't hesitate to ask.
Sure.
And so people have been really like receptive to our questions, you know, and then I would say, just even the stuff that, you know, we've had to do for, you know, state and different things like that. There's been people that have like been willing to take the time. I mean, I just all along the way, it seems like things have fallen into place. There may have been some things you're like, oh, maybe we should have done that a little differently. But it's worked out.
Square for a small business has been a very valuable tool. I mean, you know, they have a lot of resources on there. You know, we use it for payroll, for sales tax and different things. So that's super helpful. I mean, we do use an accountant as well. You know, we found that out pretty early that we need to do this.
Track it.
So but
the community has really seemed to have embraced what you guys have done. And I mean, it's really interesting to me. You talked about this being a antique shop, but this has become a very eclectically decorated. And so who has the decorated touch
here? I'm curious.
So one of my like hobbies, pastimes from high school on was partying out and salvaging old buildings, houses, you know, whatever I could get my hands on. I love old lumber, old craftsmanship, just old things. And so I've like had a collection for years. And it's like I thought, someday there's going to be a great use for all this
Yeah.
stuff.
Right?
Boy, here it is.
From when we got into this building, of course, the last time it had been remodeled was probably in 1968,
Yeah.
70.
Yeah.
So paneling, drop ceiling,
Oh yeah.
old fluorescent lighting.
Yeah.
There were 5 layers of stuff on the floor that we peeled back, and
Mm,
That's where the 3 boys came in.
Nice.
There you go.
yeah.
Yes, little
It's a
child
family
labor.
There you go.
not without complaining, but
Yeah.
they did it.
They
So-
did. They were
Yeah.
excited. They were excited about what was to come
Yeah.
too, though.
But yeah, so I mean, it was, we're both passionate about it. We both like collecting, looking for, scouring for things.
Yes.
Our I would say our house is pretty much, looks like this too, kind of inside. It's all, redone to a certain extent.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Refinished with old stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
How
So we have a lot of
baby-proof is that? Just out of
Yeah.
Curiosity, because I know you have a
Yeah.
grandson.
He is walking just as of recent.
Yeah.
And
you gotta start them little.
There you go.
gotta learn
Family
to
fair.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this building used to be the saddle company, correct? Or
Right.
Yeah.
That's originally it was built as a saddle and harness shop.
Okay.
So I was given a little article from a Topeka newspaper that said so it was built in 1905. The article is from 1907, and they said at that point it was like the best outfitted saddle shop west of the Mississippi.
Wow.
There you go.
So yeah. And then come to find out, like not too recent or not too far in the past here, some research was done on the Pankrats, H.M. Pankrats that owned it, and was actually a great grandfather of mine.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
There you go.
yes, so
And we had no idea when we
Yeah.
bought the
Yeah.
building or
Yeah.
any of that.
So-
So yeah.
and then after that, it had been actually it was called the Dewdrop Inn. It was a little cafe
Oh, okay.
for a while, and then
Okay.
for years it was an appliance store, the first store in Hillsboro that sold TVs.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
So, and then the Star Journal, the local paper,
Right.
was here for
Right.
a lot of years.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then after that, I think is when Sharon bought it, where the antique store was.
Yeah.
So,
That's the cool part about downtown buildings that are historic. They're built well enough that they can live
Yeah.
so many different lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we don't build stuff like that
Yeah.
anymore. And so it's always,
Yeah.
it's fun to see things, but it's also really important that we take the time to curate that and then,
Right.
learn the history and
Right.
taking it and turning
Yeah.
it into something.
it's been kind of fun because a lot of the lumber that I've used in here are from like area houses and
Sure.
buildings and stuff. So
Barns.
they're pieces of history from the area.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's
So,
living history. Yeah.
If these walls could talk.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
What's been the most rewarding part of this? I mean, you guys both always pleasant, you always got a smile on your face, but I'm sure there's been some challenges too, but what's been the most rewarding for you guys?
Definitely the people, the community and everything. I mean, because, people, I mean, we may be like serving them a product, but I think, the people coming in is really what like fills us up. And I've just been amazed because, like, if I were to be completely honest, like Tim said, he'd always had a passion for kind of, cooking and baking and everything. And so this had always been, part of a dream that had been percolating for a long time.
Nice. Did you hear the way she got percolated?
But when we were approached about having a storefront, I thought the whole idea was absolutely crazy. and I was just like, that's not gonna work and everything. But I'd been listening to his dreams for so many years. I was like, I think I was just wore down, and I was just like, okay, let's just go for it, and then we can move on. So in all honesty, that sounds terrible, but I didn't know that it was like we were gonna be supported like we were.
Yeah.
And then people just kept coming. And I found out how much like I enjoyed like serving people in a different way.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to know people and met people that I didn't know before. And I really look forward to coming in and opening the doors, and just every day is different. I mean, sometimes some of the stuff we're doing is the same, but every day is a little different. And yeah, that's the best part, is the community and everything. So I'm really glad it's worked out.
I think I enjoy seeing like when there's a line up front and you have strangers standing next to each other and they end up, talking, making connection, or when they're looking for a place to sit and there's a couple of chairs open at a table and they join somebody else that's already there, and then they, build a bond. I mean, we've had, groups that meet regularly that would have never known each other, or paths have crossed if they wouldn't have, stood in line, and now they're enjoying community together, coming and having coffee together. So that's really cool to see a place where, new relationships start.
Yeah.
And we've had engagements here and
Oh, really?
So it's been fun.
Yes.
So
About
I had someone tell me one time, like, they just were expressing appreciation, and they said, we have planned a wedding, like we've met to plan a wedding here. We're meeting now because we're planning a funeral, and for somebody else in the family, and or people have met, and like for baby showers, and just like lots of different like life occasions that celebrations, and to be like a part of that feels really, I feel like we're invited in to be a part of a lot of special stuff, and that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You get to be like everybody's family living there, right?
Pretty much.
Cool uncle and cool aunt.
So this thing has really developed and morphed probably far beyond what you thought it was going to be when you started, right?
Yes.
And so, but what's the future look like? I mean, now that you're to this point, what are you thinking?
Right.
Future?
I mean, I would say, we do look at it a little differently because this is our full-time job now. I'm not working at Tabor anymore. So it's been just a little bit over a year that I've been here full-time. And so, I mean, that puts a little more pressure, on what we do. So, but part of that was, noticing the demand, noticing, how quickly we were running out of stuff and turning people away because, we were out. And so, we felt that, the timing was right. Plus our daughter-in-law that worked closely with us has, our first grandchild. And so
she's with us.
So she's at home with him, which is totally understandable. We love that. And so that just felt like the timing was probably good for me to come here. So I wasn't having to juggle two full-time jobs. I could just focus on one. And so, but it's felt like it's been quite a process getting into that groove, trying to figure out, how the business works on a daily basis, how to, foresee how much to do for this day or that day. And when you think you have it figured out, it changes. But anyway, it's been really good to be here and to help out, in the way that I do. And I just think we continually want to, look at what the community needs, and that's changed some. We didn't used to offer lunch, and we found that that may be one area that Hillsboro is lacking in, is a variety of food around town. And so we try to have a lunch item every day. We try to have a breakfast item every day. So that's been fun and good to develop that. The coffee industry is such a changing industry and developing industry. It's like anything, once something is figured out, there's always something new. There's a new process, there's a new piece of equipment, there's something else that can do something you never thought would be possible. And so we try to keep on top of some of that stuff. We also want to be unique and individual.
Right.
We don't want to
Right.
copy just exactly what somebody
Sure.
else is doing. And so we spend some time on research and development, I guess, and doing our own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we always are looking for ways that we can improve, ways that we can keep people interested in coming back. We don't want to
We don't want to be stagnant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we know that like change is inevitable. And so I feel like we have a lot of conversations about, how to embrace that and be excited about that. And like he said, keep reevaluating what community needs are, because like in starting this, I mean, that was a big part of it was about that community piece. And so, yeah, so I think, moving forward and everything, that we'll continue to say, okay, what do we need to change to, still be relevant?
Well, I don't think you have to worry about people coming back. Because, the only thing I ever hear is, boy, I wish they were open more.
Like a lot of places don't do all the roasting, don't do all the baking from
Right.
scratch,
Mhm.
Yeah.
don't do all the work themselves, and there's basically, us two, our son that does the roasting, and then we have a couple of other helpers, that help with the front counter. And so we do a lot of it ourselves.
Yeah.
And so we do use the days that we're not open. I mean, we're still here all day.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And so we do
It's not
use those
serving.
days to do work and get things done, package coffee, make food that
Sure.
we can for the week ahead. Yeah, do lots of, make drink recipes and figure out lots of things. So,
Well, you talked about, Aiden starting this out in his entrepreneurship class. And one of the things that we have realized in our economic development strategies at the city is the history of Hillsboro has told us that our success has been based very strongly on that entrepreneurial spirit that we have here. And when you think about companies like
Yeah.
Barkman Honey or Container Services or Hillsboro Industries,
Yes.
any number of that you could list, or companies that were started here, we've got Circle D, and a variety of manufacturing that just started
Yeah.
from the ground up, just
Yeah.
like this place. And you think about what is Hillsboro known for? Well, we're starting to be known as the home of Rhubarb Market. What advice would you give to people that are thinking about starting their own business?
I mean, a couple of things I guess I would say would be, just to know your environment, I think it would be really hard. Like, I know, people that are franchisees, they have people to study and everything for them. But if you're looking just to open a small business, it's like, I would think you want to be really familiar with where you're thinking about doing that, what the surroundings are, what your clientele will be. So that would be important. Do your research, make sure you have a good product, ask questions. For us, like I said before, I think not knowing a lot about, if we would have known a lot about business, I don't think we probably would have done it. I think we would have thought, no, it's just way too risky. There's no way we're going to do it. But I do think you have to be willing to be a risk taker if you're going to start a business. I mean,
I love Hillsboro, and I think there's like so many possibilities here. And I really believe that Hillsboro does have a spirit for supporting local. I mean, and then we've got, with USD 410 and Tabor College, there's just a lot to offer here. I would love to see, more businesses start up and more downtown businesses, because I really think that we have possibilities for a great location to be a place that people want to come visit.
Destination.
Yeah, a destination place. And so So and that's been another really cool thing is with people coming in, when they talk about, people always want, people want to know your story. And so we've had a lot of those conversations about how we've gotten started. And it's amazing how people get really excited and they'll say, well, I've always kind of had this dream. And I'm like encouraging. I am like, let's, and I'm like,
storefront.
connect them with people to talk to like, okay, let's because that would be amazing. You want to see like parking be a problem because then you've got a busy downtown.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, just having an office across the street, that parking is generally a problem when Rhubarb Market's open. Because you guys are bringing the traffic, so that's really fun to see. We got something new this segment, and Callie, thank you very much, has come up with a really cool idea, which we're going to call the Caffeinated Chemistry game. And like the Newlywed Game, for those of us old enough to remember the Newlywed Game. So we're going to go head to head, Rhubarb Market versus the city of Hillsboro, and we're going to test how well you know your counterpart. And so we're going to have six questions, 3 per person. Don't let the other person see them, because it's going to have to cover them up. As Matt said earlier, before we got started, we're just really praying that
Oh boy.
And it's mainly linked to counseling.
We talked about now that we work together on it.
So
There you go.
I'm going to go ahead and start. And this is for Alissa.
Okay.
And and Tim, you're gonna need to come up with her answer. What's Alissa's go-to coffee order? Now, obviously, she's told us this should be a no-brainer.
Got to start out easy here, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Answers locked in. Okay, Tim, what is it? Americano.
All right.
We're gonna let Tim go next.
Okay. Here we go.
And who's this question for?
This is for Lou.
Okay.
If Mayor Lou could have a coffee with a historical figure, who would it be?
Okay.
I would have no idea.
Oh, I got this one, I think. I don't know.
Okay. Answers locked in?
Yeah. There you go.
What do you got?
I got Winston Churchill.
Wow.
What?
Okay.
Food.
I've shared a lot of quotes from Winston Churchill, and Matt was kind enough to give me a coffee mug for Christmas. That one of the Churchill's things that he did during World War II was, and I'm in the sticker business, right?
Yeah.
So he had these stickers made up that said "Action this day." So if he got a report that came across his desk that he thought was important, he would take that sticker and put "Action this day" meant we're going to do this now.
Yeah.
And so I have a mug that says "Action this day." All right.
That's cool.
All right. Sorry about that.
This is a Tim question.
Yeah.
What's Tim's favorite bake to make? Favorite bake to make?
She's writing too long. I don't think.
Not to eat, to make. Yeah.
Right. To make.
I would think it'd be something easy, right? Do you like making something more complicated?
Well, it's kind of easy.
Okay.
I mean, I think it is.
You think it is?
All right.
For everybody else.
Locked in?
Hi.
Look at these guys. They are all over it.
On it.
I can answer this one.
Well, I'm sure you can.
What's Matt's go-to coffee order?
Wow.
I'm not gonna get like way into it. I also have a temperature I like to order it at.
Oh,
Matt temp.
yeah, that's
Which is-
true.
All right. Okay, you locked in?
I'm locked in.
Okay. I've got decaf Americano, sometimes with the oat milk.
That's fair.
Pretty good.
That's good.
That is
Half
good.
Americano. Nailed it.
Sometimes with oat.
Sometimes with oat milk.
If the mayor thing doesn't work out, you could be a barista here.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so this is an Alissa question. if a famous person or celebrity walked into Rhubarb, who would Alissa want that person to be?
Okay.
Who would a famous person or celebrity?
So, dead or alive? I mean, like not walking in dead or alive.
Right,
like-
sure.
I don't think it'd be fine.
I don't know. I need one.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm horrible with celebrities.
I know you are.
This won't we won't match on this one.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
Audrey Hepburn.
From Murder She Wrote.
Oh, no. That would be Angela.
I know, that's what I said.
I love old actresses.
Yeah,
There you go.
very good.
Here we
All
go.
right.
So, if Mayor Lou were opening a coffee shop, what would he choose as his unique theme or vibe?
It's an interesting question.
That's a good one.
Matt's going to have a little harder time with this, maybe. We'll see.
I don't know. He's got kind of that confident,
Yeah, he
like,
does.
eyebrow
Ready?
thing
Lock
going.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I wrote coffee flavored coffee with a military history theme.
Oh,
That's close. I've got
Books and
books and coffee.
mhm.
yeah.
I am.
There you
I
go.
love
That's
to
true.
read.
Those go well
Got
together
your-
too.
got your
Yeah.
spot.
If you come over to my messy office, which I was actually kind of taken aback when Jerry Moran showed up at my office, and I certainly wasn't presentable for guests, but I had to let him in, and I figured, well, he's just going to have to see how it really is.
He's just gonna think this guy is well read.
Yeah,
Busy man.
there's books everywhere in there.
Yeah.
So
That's true. You're well read.
yeah, that's
I can
it.
always rely on you for a recommendation, but it cannot buy you a book because you've probably already read it.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah.
Here we go. Here's
Alright.
one that's about Tim. So, what's Tim's favorite plant found within or around the Rhubarb Market? A lot to choose from,
Okay.
real or otherwise.
Gosh. I hope I don't have to list like a scientific name or anything. Oh,
All right. You
okay.
ready?
I'm ready.
What do you got?
Yeah.
Staghorn Fern. Well, there you go. Look at that. I don't even know what a staghorn fern is.
So they're
Joe,
They're hanging around.
they're protruding out of the top of the tree trunks up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Alright.
they're very unusual.
Little-
They look like stag horns.
Right.
I got you.
Serenity Gardens.
Nice.
Local
Yeah.
greenhouse. We've
Yeah,
up
you
in
know,
there.
something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Matt is hosting an event at Rhubarb Market. Is it a book club meeting, a poetry slam, or a comedy show?
All right.
I'm ready. Comedy show.
I almost would have guessed that one.
Anybody that will shave his beard off for Halloween to be Ted Lasso,
No, that
That
was
guy is-
impressive.
he likes his
Yourselves,
humor.
That was impressive.
Never lived until you had to deal with an angry utility customer dressed like Ted Lasso.
Oh,
That was fun. The guy didn't know, and so that was kind of the funny
funny.
part. You think I does like this every day?
oh my goodness, that's great.
Yeah.
This is the last question for Alissa. What playlist, song, or musical artist would Alissa immediately play on entering the coffee house?
Ready?
Yeah.
Jazz.
Okay.
That's great. I love jazz.
Big category.
I happen to like smooth jazz myself.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth,
better.
yeah, for sure.
Mayor Lou wants a sweet treat to go with his coffee. Is he choosing a cookie, a muffin, or a slice of pie? And what kind would it be? That could be difficult.
Dang. So many options.
All right,
I don't know.
here we go. blueberry.
I
Nice.
wasn't sure about the time. I was gonna put muffin.
Blueberry muffin.
Man,
I don't-
they're doing.
I mean, if scone would have been an option, I probably would have picked scone,
Go with
because
the
I'm kind of partial to those. I had a nice cranberry white chocolate scone.
Yeah.
If money and time were no object, what would be one thing Tim would add or change about Rhubarb Market right now? Money is not an object.
Oh, okay.
Gosh. Oh boy. I know.
What do you
I
think?
know.
Being awfully descriptive.
Okay.
Hey, ready?
What do we got? Pizza oven, open back room remodel.
Yeah, it's hard enough. Swing and a miss, yeah.
They go together.
Yeah, fix in the back room, you know,
That's right.
and I'm here.
Here for it.
Matt's going to Rhubarb Market to relax with a coffee. What is he bringing with him? Earbuds, a book, a writing journal, etc. Those are examples.
Etc.
Probably all of those.
Yeah, do I get full credit for etc.?
Let's go with that.
All right, I got the book.
I went with newspaper.
Okay, that's not the same thing,
I
unfortunately.
think every time I come in here, I end up having one of those conversations that you talk about. Like I always end up with talking to somebody about something. So it's kind of like having a morning meeting when you come over
Yeah.
here. 'Cause you
Yeah,
Everybody, yeah.
But
I know.
and it's, so it's good.
I know. I've always noticed, like when you guys come over, you're always having to do a little bit of
You gotta do a little bit of work.
business,
But it's
little bit
okay.
of business,
So
little town business.
Did we have a score?
Yes, I think we've
Look,
ended in a tie,
It's a tie.
but that's okay.
Okay, all right.
Tie.
I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take a tie. I figured you guys would know each other, but that's kind of scary that Matt and I are on the same page.
You guys are.
So I guess that's going to be all the time we have for this month's episode of Coffee with the Mayor. Alissa and Tim, thank you so much, and really thank you for letting us have this podcast here, if you will. You know, and it really makes it a fun time, and our guests that we bring in really love it. And you know, just again, can't thank you enough.
You're
It's
welcome.
absolutely
Yeah.
our pleasure.
Anything? I don't know if you guys are big on social media, but how do people find out about what's going on at Rhubarb Market? You want to plug your social media?
So basically, yeah, we are not good at social media, but
Trying to be better.
We do post on the mornings we're open, like what is available for the day
Okay.
on Facebook. So
Yeah.
just Rhubarb Market, and you can see what we have there. So,
Okay. very
and
good.
if we're ever closed for a certain reason or gone, holiday, whatever,
Sure.
or something's up, that'll be posted.
That's
there as
going to
well.
be where you find out.
So that's the best place. Yeah.
So Facebook, you really got to come down, because you're never going to find exactly the same thing every time, and that really makes it unique.
That's
It's always a unique experience, you know.
And
Yeah.
I mean, we talked a lot about, how, like, just the people coming in, but I will, as far as community, and they've been great, and people from out of town have been great too. But we have some really great people that work for us as well, that behind the counter, and we've been really blessed by that. So yeah, come in and meet some of our staff too. So.
Well, to plug the city, you can find Coffee with the Mayor on our YouTube channel. You can also connect with that off of our Facebook page, and also I think off the city webpage.
Yep.
So you can get past episodes there. But we drop a new episode of Coffee with the Mayor every final Friday
Okay.
of the month. And I guess in this case, are we doing it the 29th or?
The Friday before.
Okay, Friday before.
Thanksgiving. Yep.
Okay, so the final Friday that the city's open. There you go. That's, if that isn't confusing enough, right? But the final Friday of the month, join us for our new episode of Coffee with the Mayor. Again, thank you to our guests.
Thank you.
And in the meantime, stay updated and stay caffeinated, Hillsboro. We'll see you next time.